Starting your own seedlings is a super fun process, but if you don't have success, it can be really disheartening. And so today I'm going to share 5 must-have tips for successfully starting your seedlings so that you can have healthy plants to plant out in the garden. So the very first tip is to use a seedling mix, not potting soil. So I have this black gold seedling mix here. The reason you want to use a seedling mix and not potting soil is because seedling mix is designed specifically for germinating seeds. And a potting soil holds onto moisture, which is great for established plants, but when you're starting seeds, you want the water to drain well, because if the seeds just sit in standing water or soil that's too moist, it can result in poor germination. And then the next thing is that you want to use good quality seeds. So I have these seeds right here from True Leaf Market. There's other seed companies I really love, such as Botanical Interests, and a ton of other seed companies. But when I say good quality, what I mostly mean is that you want to make sure that your seeds are viable. You don't want seeds that are too old and past their point of viability. Some seeds can last for years, and it really depends on how you store them. But the best thing is to make sure you're using seeds that you know are viable. If you have some seeds that are a few years old that need to be used, use those up first. But if you don't have success, then you'll know that it likely was that those seeds were too old. So use seeds that are within the range of their years of viability. And then the next thing is to provide plenty of warmth. So I have this entire seed starting kit that I actually got from Haas Tools. It provides everything you need to get your seedlings started. It has the planting trays, it has the water tray that goes on the bottom, it had the seedling mix, and it has the dome that you need, which that's what I'm gonna get to right now. And then as well as those few things, it also comes with the fertilizer to give your seedlings once they're a few inches tall with their first true set of leaves. It comes with the marker and the markers, and so you can write down what each variety is, and it also gives some really good seed starting instructions. So besides the point of maybe getting a collection like this that just has everything you need in a set, however it is that you're going to keep your plants warm, the seeds need warmth to germinate. And so once I get my seeds started, I'm going to put this plastic dome over the seedling trays and put it out in the sun. And that is going to hopefully keep the soil warm enough that those seeds can germinate. But if I'm still not having success with my germination, I may need to move them inside at night or put them on a heat mat, which can really help speed up germination. Or if you have a greenhouse, you could put your seedlings out in the greenhouse, wherever it is that is warm enough. Ideally, the soil should be between 60 and 80 degrees for optimal germination, but certain varieties vary one way or the other. So keeping them as warm as possible, but also keep in mind that if the seeds get too hot, that can cause problems as well. So you kind of want that ideal temperature. Right now, it's pretty cold where we are still. So if I just put this dome on top and set it out in the sun, it should give plenty of warmth for successful germination. But I'm going to observe, and if I don't notice anything germinating within the range that they're supposed to germinate, then I will maybe put them on a heat mat or move them in and out of the house where it's warmer if needed. And as we're going through all these tips, be sure to get your seed starting checklist that I give you below. It's a free checklist you can sign up for, and it will give you all of the important tips and steps and resources that you need for starting your seeds. And so the 4th tip is to provide adequate moisture, but don't overly saturate them with water. Seeds that get too wet can become waterlogged and actually rot, but you don't want to underwater or the seeds aren't going to germinate. So make sure that you keep the soil moist, but don't drench it in water so those seeds are just sitting in really wet, soggy soil. Which if you're using a good quality seedling mix, that shouldn't happen because it should drain pretty well, but just pay attention to how wet the soil is, and you may need to water 1 to 2 times a day, or maybe just once a day. Just pay attention to the moisture in that soil. And then tip number 5 is to observe. Every seed or variety that you're planting has a range of days to germination. For example, right here I have basil that should germinate in 5 to 14 days. And so what I'm going to pay attention to is the day I plant and then 14 days later. If in that time frame nothing has germinated, then I need to check on what's happening. If I know my seeds are new and they should be viable, well then that's probably not the issue. If I'm watering well but not oversaturating the soil with water, then it's likely not from water. So then it's likely because maybe the soil is not warm enough. But if I know that I have enough warmth because I've already put my trays on a heat mat and I have the dome over top during the day and they're getting sun, then possibly it could be that they're too warm. So you really have to just observe and use your skills that you've learned throughout this video to see why your plants aren't germinating. But it's likely that if you are using good quality seeds that should be viable and you're using a good quality seedling mix, keeping them warm and watering well, your seeds should germinate. And if they don't, then you may just need to replant, or you may have had a bad batch of seeds and you just throw those seeds out. Or maybe you try one more time replanting, and if they don't germinate that second time, you know it's the seeds and you just get a new batch of seeds. But with all these tips that you've got, I'm sure you're going to have great success starting your seedlings. And then when those seedlings are ready to transplant on the garden, they should grow into healthy, productive plants. And if you head to this video right here, I cover 5 transplanting tips. And so you can have a successful transplanting out into the garden as well. So head to that video next, and I'll see you there.